Well, James is happy. We come across some deer bones that they're not real old, a couple months. See how that's made? The backbone of this deer. It's got slides, just like everything else. There's the discs. Very cool. Yeah, James, he's happy. He's laying down, chewing on a leg bone. Made his day. So I had to stop because he laid down. So I'm gonna hang out here with him for a while. I'm gonna go up in this brush pile, see what's up in there. This is a logging road, probably 20 years ago. Somebody quite possibly hasn't been up here for 20 years, which I doubt. There seems to be some four-wheeler tracks that's from last year sometime. So somebody's probably got a tree stand up here or something. Somewhere, or maybe this goes to another holler or something, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where he's going. It's a rough country up in here. Very, very rough. Got that spot on this lens. Very rough country. You ought to see what's that way. Yeah. Pretty rough. Trees are all tore down. Looks like there might have been a good size ice storm in here. And tore down all the big timber, and the only things growing back is the poplar trees. Yeah, poplar and maple. I don't see any oaks. Sycamores. The ice storm must have been pretty severe, and probably about 15 years ago, because it is trashed in here. Just poplar trees. Poplars grow fast, and they're more withstanding to ice storms because they stand straight up and down, and they don't have a lot of limbs sticking out. That's steep. That's like 70 degrees. Some of you may ask, what are you doing? Because I'm trying out this new bike. You've seen them on the internet, and I'm not sponsored by any of these things, and I want you to know before you see this, my own ATV is a 400EX Honda and a 300 Honda utility four-wheeler. But I have bought electric bicycles before. Don't tell nobody, because it's not embarrassing, it's just where I live. People that ride bicycles are categorized as maybe not that tough or something. So anyway, my pride aside, I'm gonna show you. I had a Hemingway Cruiser, and it was big, and it was awesome. So I rode it, and the controller gave out on me at 300 and some miles. So I tried it out. So I came and bought this other bike. I got this other bike now. This is the first ride. This is the first ride, and it's called an Ariel rider, Grizzly. And it's pretty tough. I'm gonna show you where I'm at. Let me get my focus. So here we are on this hill slash mountainside that's been obviously ice storm has tore it up. And here's my path directly in front of me. Now, you're gonna ask, what are you doing with this bike? Anyone that's seen them, they know they're expensive, right? This is the Ariel rider, Grizzly. And I am testing her. This is my test ride. This is the kind of stuff I do with them. I don't ever ride them on blacktop, but it's got a 1,000-watt motor in the front, 1,000-watt motor in the back. Battery here, it's like 52 volts and 17 amp hours. A battery there is 52 volts and 20 amp hours. So, Ariel rider, Ariel rider, if you're out there, if you watch this, I'm putting your bike to the test the way that you guys should test them. The little Hemingway Cruiser with the 48 volt, 750 watt motor, doing very well for itself. It did very well, and I'm hoping that yours, being twice as powerful, supposedly, will last more than 300 miles in this kind of terrain, because this is exactly what I put that other bike through. And the first ride, if you're going to break your stuff in, you need to break it in the way you're going to be riding it. Don't baby it around and then try to take it out on a trail somewhere. So we're out here in the woods with this Grizzly 2,000 watt bike, and I rode it up the hill. It brought me up the hill. I had to get off and push because I'm going through this deer slash possum trail. And what I'm gonna try to do is I'm trying to get up to the top of this mountain. So it's 3 o'clock. I just got this bike about a few days ago. I had the batteries charged up. I'm on 73% battery. If you can see it, it's pretty faded. And I've been riding it around for about 2 hours. Nah, hour and a half probably. So far, what I like about everything, the seat's a little rough on my sitting parts, and I wish it had regen braking, and it don't. And I eat through brake pads like crazy in this kind of terrain when I'm out doing this kind of stuff. And another thing, Ariel rider, pay attention. Your batteries are not sealed up completely tight. I had to put Scotch tape around this one, around the seam where it goes onto the battery hanger or whatever you call it when you put it back on your bike, to keep the water from the front wheel from splashing in there. And just like the back one, I covered it up with a bag because the water was flying up on my new batteries. Batteries are not cheap. They're like probably $2,000 or something. The whole bike cost $3,100. Brand new. It's brand new. It's the first time I've rode it. So pray that I don't tear it up. My wife would kill me, and I'd be pretty bummed too, because I like to use this to get back into the woods far enough. Then I can take off hiking. That is why I don't stay overnight a lot of times, because I go back far enough where I can be in a remote place for an hour, all day, and still get out before dark or at dark. And I do that by this kind of means here. Sometimes I'll walk, but I don't like to stay out. It gets cold in a hammock type sleeper, sleeping in a tent on the ground. You got to carry all that stuff. It's not fun. So if you like watching people do that online, they go through a lot of work when they're doing that. And they go through a lot of work when they're doing that, and they deserve the watch time. So anyway, I'm gonna try to get this thing. You can't even tell it's a trail. There's a trail there, I promise. I'm not lying to you. But that's where I'm going. And then I'm gonna go to the top if I can get there before dark. It's about what time is it? 8:13 a.m. I don't think that's right. So I haven't been able to ride it. I'm getting through all this brush. James is beating me, so laid it down here so I can rest a minute. Now you e-bike manufacturers, You get your bikes and you test them like this. Send them to me. I'll test them out and tell you what you need to make better. And I'll tell you what you need to make better for the consumer, the people that buy them. Because nobody likes to get out in a place like this and their machinery tear up. So far so good. If I can get up to that logging road, which is like 50 more yards, I'll be good. I'm not pushing this thing. This thing's all-wheel drive. It's got a button on it. You can hold down this button. It's called push mode, and it'll propel itself. You know, you just got to hold it. And what happened was I took the wrong road. I was supposed to come out up there, I thought, but it's been a long time since I've been up here. So I took the wrong road and it ended down here. So I just went around. I'm zoomed in 2 times, so it's pretty close. Went around, just made my own path, kind of followed a deer trail. But yeah, this place is not pretty. It's pretty trashy over here, pretty rough. So here we made it. We made it. So I got it sitting there. We're in the road. We're about 50% of the way up to the top. And this bike weighs over 100 pounds. And I don't have to push it, like I said, it goes by itself. But we're testing it out, see how tough, how strong it really is. I had people tell me, yeah, this is the bike you need to get you into those logging roads and steep places. They told me that. And I'm checking it out for real, because anybody that's doing what I'm doing, and to be quiet, the main reason I have this thing is because they're totally silent, totally quiet. That's why I bought the other one. And I mean, they're not totally silent, but you can't hear them outside 10 feet away or something. You know, you just hear the motor. But you can ride up on animals. They don't even know what you are. They don't realize you're a person because you're riding this thing. It's kind of like when you ride a horse and you walk up on a deer or elk or buffalo or whatever, cows. James has got something. But yeah, the animals don't even know what you are. The turkeys and of course the fox, the coyotes, bobcats, they are not stupid, so they stay away. But the grazing animals, deer and turkey, rabbits and stuff, they're still a little skittish, but they won't run like they usually. You can go right up on them before they take off, and you can be quiet. And I like to not get around people a whole lot when I'm out here, so these things are ideal. They're very good for it. You like my haircut? Let me see if I fix my hair there. Yeah. It's hot. Anyway, we're gonna carry on. Well, we made it. If you can see, that's the mountaintops, hilltops. As you can see, the lone male dog is out trying to provide for his stomach. He approaches me with care and vigor, and then he decides to go the other way, avoiding me. It is a rare quality in a dog to avoid its owner. Maybe we will see him another day. Looks like a moped. It's rough in here. Hope I don't get a flat tire. James! James! Who knows? I finally made it where I wanted to go. Alright, went like 4 point some miles. Long way. There's no houses, no people, just trees, hills, dirt, and briars. These are called saw briars because they got saw-like briar teeth. Yeah, these saw briars, you can see the teeth on those. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. In Appalachia on the hilltops, after you get so high, they go away and turn into laurel bushes. There's a little laurel bush there. Laurel bushes that grow on the hot side. See the sun. The sun comes over just like that. That's west. And it beams down on this top of this hill, and it makes it really dry. Makes it hard for anything to grow. And then you got the opposite hillside over there. It's where it's green and wet. This place is actually turning into like a temperate rainforest in the summer. Long years ago, it was dry and hot, you know. I mean, it was still green and everything, but here in the last 20 years, it has rained every summer. Rained and rained. Looks like a logging cut back in there. See that? Is that what that is? See that big gap? Paperwood companies. Paperwood companies and government own everything. Like, this is not public land, and this isn't private land. This is Paperwood company land and government land. Isn't that crazy? Years ago, my greats, they probably owned most of this, and all these other people's great grandpas and stuff probably owned just as much, just like the Ponderosa. When they came west, they stopped here first, you know, and took this land up, and then the other people kept going farther and farther. So as time goes on, when the parents have 10 children, they split the land up, and the land keeps getting split up into smaller and smaller parcels. And that's how you end up with pieces of land that used to be thousands and thousands of acres that end up being cut down into 100-acre plots or 10-acre plots, you know. The kids, it's been so many generations now, enough to disperse all the land out into smaller and smaller pieces. I'm fortunate that I've been blessed by the Lord, and some of my other family has too. We work hard for it, and we have a good home, a good amount. I would come out to places like this, or places like over in the Daniel Boone National Forest, and I would live there in the summer. In the wintertime, I would find a cave and live there if I was homeless. I would. There's no need to be homeless in this kind of environment. If you're homeless in the city, that's different. Homeless people, you know, people get homeless and have nothing through circumstances that usually, you know, bad decisions and whatnot. Sometimes they can't even help it. And I understand fully even the drug epidemic and all that. It's not the persons. I want y'all to listen to me for a minute. The people that are doing drugs and is addicted to drugs and alcohol, the first time they done it, second, third, fourth, 20th time they did it, they didn't do it because they wanted to get addicted to drugs. I want you to understand that. That's not what their purpose was. Their purpose was the drugs made them feel better. you know, their bones ache or whatever, or maybe they got in a car accident and broke their leg and the doctor gave them narcotics, you know, painkillers, and they got addicted to them. About 99% of the time, it's really comes down to ignorance and circumstance of doctors' offices and stuff like that that really put it hard to us here in Appalachia. So now, and I understand, by the time the people, I've known so many people, by the time that the people find out that they're addicted, they don't keep taking drugs because they want to be a druggie. They keep taking drugs because they get so sick. If you don't have those drugs after about a day and a half, sometimes a day and a half, 2 days, 3 days, you get in 4 or 5 days, the days seem like months, and the pain is so severe and the sickness is so severe that you got to get it. It comes to you after you take them so long. It comes to these people like, you know how everybody on the planet has to have food, water, and air to breathe? That way they can survive. Well, I can tell you that the drugs get ingrained in there by our brains or whatever it is. It kind of puts it in this order. It puts it in air, water, drugs, food, and then everything else. That is kind of the order after an addiction sets in, and sometimes it's air, drug of choice, drug that keeps your sickness away. That's what it is, keeps your sickness away. Drug of choice, water, and then food. So have some sympathy, have tough love to your family. There's dangerous ways that you can get people into the doctors to quit. It's still dangerous and addictive. You can search that out for yourself, but it's better than living day to day in a car, or your family hating you, not having any friends, spending all your time at your drug dealer's house and all that. So for anybody that's on drugs, that's addicted to drugs or alcohol, I want you to know that I understand, and I know what it's like. And there's ways to quit, and I understand that you want to quit. I understand that. And for you to want to quit, that's the first step. That usually comes to people about 6 or 8 months into it, when they figure out that it's controlling their life in a way that they hadn't anticipated. And if you're wanting to quit, that's the first step. Get that in your heart. I know you probably feel convicted every time you go to get your drugs or get your alcohol or whatever, because you're neglecting other things that you should be paying, because drugs is all about money. To get the drugs, you got to have money or something to trade of worth. But I understand, and there's doctors out there that will prescribe medicine that will make the withdrawals not too bad. They got medicine nowadays, but you got to ask for it, because they don't give that stuff out. They don't advertise this stuff on TV, because secretly the pharmacy companies don't want you to be unaddicted. You know what I mean? Illegal sales or legal sales, the pharmacy is still making the money. They're making the first money on the narcotics, the painkillers, and the Xanaxes and stuff like that. They're making the first money. And the doctors used to make money on it. The doctors are slacked off on prescribing this stuff. Some still do. And then the pharmacies are making the first money. The guy or girl that goes to the doctor is making the second money. The drug dealer's making the third money. You see what I'm saying? So they don't want you to know. I don't think they want you to know. You can find out for yourself. But there's things like what's it called? Lexapro. It's probably addictive too, but it acts on your what is it? It acts on your it makes you feel better. It gives you this feeling of secureness or whatever. It's for anxiety is what it's for. And anyone that's going through withdrawals is going to have severe anxiety, and that stuff helps a lot. Blood pressure medicines help a lot. Ativan, which is addictive too. It helps a lot. But if you're trying to stop taking your drug of choice, people don't understand that you really don't get addicted to anything else because you don't like it. You need to go see a doctor and be upfront with them and tell them that you need a referral to a doctor. It's going to cost you money, but it's worth it. And for most people, I would say here in Appalachian area, eastern Kentucky, 1, 2, I would say every one person out of 100 that's addicted to the narcotics, and alcohol, 1 out of 100 may be able to quit if they're not too far into it. If they're into heroin or, heaven forbid, heroin or methamphetamines, it's like 1 in, I don't know, 1 in 10, 1 in 5 or 6,000 people may be able to quit by themselves. It's a large task. I didn't know this is where this video was going to go when I came up here, but I understand. And if you have any family out there, if you're watching, I want you to understand what they're going through. They don't want to be that way. They don't want to be that way. They want to be free. Ultimately, they want to be free. And even though they've stole from you, maybe lied to you, you know, unreliable and all this stuff that comes with being an addiction, try to help your family out. Try to help your friends out. You know, don't give them money. If they need tough love, get them away from you for a while. If you don't want them around, if they got the wrong crowd coming to your house, the drug people are dangerous. Here, you know, the drugs easily lead to theft, stealing, criminal behavior, stuff like that, because it gets so severe that people almost do anything to get the money or the drug. So just be careful, show some sympathy. See if you can get them to find a doctor somewhere, research a forum, and give them the numbers. Call the doctor's forum. There's doctors out there. Now, there's a product called Suboxone that's going around here. It's very addictive. It's way more addictive than any painkiller there ever was. And the government's used it to tell the doctors it's okay, prescribe that to people that have a severe addiction to, you know, Oxycontin and oxycodone and Percocet. But they're making the first money again, because they got you addicted to something that's about 100 times more powerful than the painkillers, and you get it from the pharmacies, you know, and the doctors. So they're making the first money again. And there is withdrawal-free medicine that you can get that's overseas. I read about it. It's overseas in the UK. It's very expensive. I forget the name of it. I think it's like 25 grand for the cure. That's what I'm gonna call it. And if I can find the name of that, I'll put it on here in another video or something. But it's like 25 grand. You take it. I think it's an injection. I think you go to their facilities. They give you an injection of something for 30, 60, 90 days. Anything over 40 days. If you guys can make it 40 days on your own without any kind of help like that, maybe with just blood pressure medicine and stuff, because you may die if you're so addicted to something, meth and alcohol and even painkillers and Xanaxes and stuff like that. Just realize that your family member that's addicted and has been for 8-10 years, your friend that's addicted and has been for 5-6 years, your alcoholic, you know, uncle who's drank his whole life, if they stop, they may die. I'm gonna tell you a story. I'm gonna shut this off and start again. I'm gonna tell you a story. I know it's a little blurry, but the sun's back here. So certain county in eastern Kentucky had when methamphetamine started coming in about 8 years ago after the drug epidemic. Meth was a lot cheaper, made people's withdrawals go away, so they started using it instead of the normal things you would buy. And the sheriff's office in a certain place, the people they were arresting were so addicted in these drug roundups, they were so addicted to heroin and meth that several men and women died in the county jail without any medical attention. The staff of the jail just let them die, and it usually happened about 2 to 3 days after they were apprehended. The criminals or whatever. 2 to 3 days. These sheriff's offices don't understand. These people don't want to be on this stuff. They're only on it because they can't survive without it. And the proof of that is, especially meth and alcohol and heroin, is if you take somebody, you arrest them, take them right into jail, and they die 3 days later, and the jailer calls it, the sheriff's office doesn't even blink an eye at it. They don't even think they're worth calling the ambulance for. That's not right. And that happened. It happened several places here in Eastern Kentucky. And the jail I'm talking about got shut down for other reasons, they say. But there was at least 3 people who died in that jail in the last 3 years from withdrawals from methamphetamines and heroin. It's a sad thing. All they had to do was just call an ambulance, come get them, give them some, synthesized something, whatever, Subutex or something. It don't even matter what it was. A couple painkillers. Give them something. These people that are in jail, they don't deserve to die because they're addicted to a chemical. That's the craziest logic that I've ever heard, as sheriff and deputies saying. These people deserve to be treated as worse than animals. Just lock them up and let them die. You might as well lock them up and don't give them any water for 4 or 5 days and let them die that way, because anyone that's addicted to stuff like that, after a few days, they'll die. I mean, they don't have a chance. So I just want you to think about that. And they shut that jail down. And they also shut down the ambulance service in that area. I don't know if it was corrupt or they didn't have any consciences or what was going on, but they shut it all down. Bugs are already coming out here in Eastern Kentucky. I can't wait till the greenery gets out. I'm going to show you how this turns into a temperate rainforest in the summertime. It's way different than it was 20 years ago. I want you to like and subscribe. And I'm going to get out of here. Start making my way back to where I started. These gnats are terrible. They're terrible. There's not a person for, 3 miles from where I'm at. You can't get much more remote than this in Kentucky or Tennessee, or you can up in the mountains, but it's not like sometimes I wish I was born in British Columbia or Canada, up near mid-Canada, up in the mid-latitudes up there near the Arctic Circle, or around in Alaska, up around the Nahanni Valley and stuff like that. It'd be nice. Or Argentina. Can you imagine living in Argentina? If there's anybody watching from Argentina, you got a good country.